Here we go. Morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Hit that subscribe button, like button, follow along. Today, we got to get those tractors switched over from yesterday's video. I got to get the merger unhooked, rewired into a different tractor. But first things first, as always, cleaning the barn. And stalls were a little low, so we're bedding. We've got sand saver mattresses in these stalls. So that means instead of full deep beds, instead of sand all the way down to the bottom, down to gravel, we've got a set of, it's like a hard rubber material mattress. Maybe I could show you here. A little piece of it on the edge that you could see. It's like a, I don't know, rubber or foam or something, but. So it's right there, it's got some ridges on it. Basically, instead of being all the way deep, the stalls are only about 4 inches lower than the edge of the curb, but then you fill them up with sand, so there's always, well, not always, but the goal is to keep about 4 to 5 inches of sand on the bed as such. So we just came down through and bedded this pen. He's still got a bed over there. He's gonna put half a load over there, and then he's gonna put half a load over. I still gotta bed the front of the dry cows. We did the back of the dry cows the other day, so that is done. But reason for the mattresses, plain and simple, we use less sand. Sand's a pain in the rear, settles in the tank, settles in the lagoon, costs money, etc., etc. So we put the mattresses in simply to save sand. Now, is it actually saving sand? Yes, it is. So our other barn down there is deep bedded sand. For a pen with the same number of cows as this pen right here, this pen gets 2 loads of sand a day. Down there, they're getting 3 loads of sand a day. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but that is 33% less sand to deal with, which over the course of a year is a lot of money and a lot of screwing around in the lagoon, a lot of cleaning my tanks out, you know, all of the above. Also, another advantage to these mattresses, you do not have to groom these stalls. So those of you guys who have followed me since my first videos, I explained down there in the deep beds, once a week we go through and groom stalls. We've got a rake that breaks up any clumps, fills in any holes, anything like that. You do not have to do that up here. These stalls keep themselves level just because the cows can't dig holes. In the other barn, they can dig holes, which leaves ridges, which makes it harden up into clumps. It also holds moisture. These do not. Now, these weren't cheap, but I am a huge fan of them. We moved into this barn in December, and I couldn't say better things about them right now. Now, God willing, I'm still doing YouTube in 5 years. Ask me then, because I'm not sure, you know, we'll see how long they last. We talked to a lot of people who had them before we put them in, and they seem to like them. So cross your fingers, hope on that. You guys ready to get back in here, aren't you? Yeah. All right. Here comes Jack with the other load. We'll get it bedded. You guys come back in here. All right. Sounds good. All right, guys, for those of you guys who didn't see my video yesterday, I got this merger all hooked up to the 8330 we generally merge with, and the fan drive is totally shot. So we are gonna unhook this and put it on our other 8330. So first, I'm just gonna unclip this here. We'll get the tractor off, take it up to the shop, pull all the controls and wiring and stuff off up there. Then I got to unhook the drill from the other tractor and get all this stuff thrown into that. It's not hard, it's just annoying work, but we'll get it. we'll see if we can remember all of this stuff. I know there's this plug here. Unplug that. Okay, then it's literally just you pull that bolt off and this whole thing, hands back. I gotta unbolt that off of the tractor. And if I remember correctly, there's a ground and a hot. They go up under this fender over here, up to the battery. If I remember correctly. All right, now we crawl up under here, and of course they'd be a different size. 9/16 half inch and 7/16 for this silly little project. Oh well, let me just pop that off there. Yeah, so this is where the merger wire comes up in. Ground and the hot's back there. And then that's just kind of threaded up through into there to the back. It's never loose enough to do it by hand. And we're out. I'd love to say that was quick and easy and that there were no swear words involved or pinched fingers or zip ties that were sharp on the end that slice you open, or, you know, bolts on battery terminals that spin when they're not supposed to, or, you know, stuff like that. I'd love to say that that didn't happen, but it did. But it's out. So I'm not whining. I'm just gonna go to the next tractor. Sometimes I really ought to just look at getting a hot in the ground back here, posts, so I could just hook those guys right there to the back and not have to thread it up through under the cab, between the tires, you know, all those places that fat people just don't fit good. So, yep, time to go get the drill, I guess. Looks like the plumber's got a new vehicle. Got ourselves a little traffic jam around this place today. All right, well, the box is in. Solid. Safe to say we've got enough stuff going on here. Corn planter, drill, and now merger. Luckily we take the one for the baler out, or we really would have no window space at all. All right, well, Tyler came over and he pointed out that because this tractor's on the planter, already has a hot wire and a ground wire. Tyler's the man. I gotta get that same setup on that. So rather than having to thread it all the way up through, we're gonna clip her on back here and see if she works. All right, I believe everything's hooked up. We're gonna go down. Tyler's grabbing me some zip ties. We're gonna zip tie all those wires up in there because I'm not gonna mount all the brackets and all that crap, being that hopefully it's just literally running this for a couple days. Yeah, so get all those zip tied, we'll hook it up and make sure everything works. It should. But that's just how it goes. You gotta test stuff. So, yep, that's the plan. All right, we are gonna see if we can figure this out. See if it all wants to work. Okay, well, maybe that's gotta go back. Helps if you hook up the hydraulics. All right, hydraulics are hooked up now. So, something seems goofy. All right, the hydraulic hose had just popped out. Something still does not seem right. What's going on here? Let me try this. Back out. Hydraulic hose popped off again. I'm gonna go out and relieve pressure off that. Handful of screwing around and taking pressures off hydraulic hoses and switching remotes, but see if everything wants to. All right. Looks like she's ready to roll. All right, guys, the weather has exceeded our expectations. It's 84 degrees, sunny, breezy, haze drying. We're gonna go get after it here. We're just gonna go full send. Got the shades on, got the headset, got Monster, got a bottle of Tums in the back pocket because Monster, you know, gets you all worked up. So we're gonna go give this a shot. This will be my first time merging with GPS. Neighbor kid works for us on Sundays, does a lot of merging. Sent me all of the offsets for a 34-foot merger. I'll be honest, I'm not even sure where to find those in the screen. But we're gonna figure that out. And we're gonna get right after it here. So tag along, see how bad we can screw this up. Well, guys, we are out here hammering away. This field here is the field. We're doing this first because this is the one that's getting plowed under next year. This is our thinnest field. It's got the most amount of grass in it. This field's a little wetter. We're not planning on chopping till tomorrow, but I'm trying to get ahead of them, get it all windrowed up, just so it doesn't get away from us. We are running GPS now. I've had to call a few people. I made a TikTok video asking. Feel free, guys, leave in the comments how you guys got your setups. Neighbor kid that works for us on Sundays, he runs it with GPS. He sent me a picture of all their offsets, but he's got a different monitor than I do. I don't know if it's a newer gen or what. So what I'm doing, 34-foot merger. I've got it set for, currently I've got it set for 44 feet working width. No, I'm sorry, 44-foot track spacing, 34-foot working width. We're just playing around with this. Like, I still don't have it all figured out. And if I get off, I just hit the off center button. My buddy Tim Fenzel down to Sunnyside. That was a good phone call. I didn't know what that button did, but if I pull into a row and my A/B lines are way off, I just hit that and it moves the line to where I'm at. Those of you guys who know GPS probably know all this. I'm still learning, and when I say learning, I mean I'm pushing buttons. until I figure something out. But anyways, it's very satisfying seeing straight rows, and that's right where I want to be. I might maybe move to my left another foot or two, but that's making a beautiful row. I would think that the chopper is going to be happy with that. Yeah, I don't know. We're almost to the end here. We'll spin around and see where this line leaves us, I guess. I don't really know. I had to recenter it again. I might just end up recentering every row. That's still a lot easier than steering, especially on these big fields like this. The smaller fields, I'll just run it, not a big deal. But these big fields, these big long rows, I just assume make big straight rows. And I'm hoping the chopper appreciates that too. Also, the rows should be more uniform because I'm never going to be, too close to the row, a little too far, overlapping. Not that I do that a lot, because I don't, but just one of those things. I shouldn't have to worry about it. And also, being that the mowers don't run GPS, their rows get squiggly and crooked, and I shouldn't ever, I should be right on the money. So, yeah, that's the goal anyways. I don't know. Like I said, we're just going to keep farting around with this until we get it figured out. All right, so I just talked to Tim again, and he's right, obviously. What is going to happen is I'm going to go down, I'm going to come back, and it'll be perfect, just like this. When I got to the end that time, when I swung in, it set me up just like that. I mean, that's setting the row right where I want to be. He said, but on that third turn, when he turned in the third time, you'll have to recenter. So every third pass, you've got to recenter. But other than that, having it set up at this width and everything, he said if I need my row narrowed up or anything like that, I can adjust my track spacing based off of that. But yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I don't have this on my other 8330, which is why obviously for the first time I'm learning this. The only thing that tractor lacks is up on here. I've got to get a bracket for the globe. But other than that, it's got the valve in the front end. It's got it's got everything we need except that. So I think this winter what's going to happen is I'm going to get that mounted up there, and when we're not planting corn or drilling, I will we'll be running this from now on. I think. Call me lazy. I know. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know. All right, guys. I just had to share this. I was just talking with a buddy of mine on the phone, and we were talking about technology, and I was telling him, we don't really use what we've got. We've got to do a better job with it. Someday we'll get around to doing that. But like we've got a forage lab in our chopper that we really don't use. We need to, but we don't. I mean, I say need, you don't need to. I told him, I said, well, like moistures, we should really be using that. I said, but I can get out and pretty well tell just by feeling it what the moisture's like on the hay. And he said, well, Dalton, he said, you can hold your manhood in your hand and tell me it's 10 inches, but it might only be 6. He's right. What are you going to do? Yeah, I just thought, I'd never heard that before. I thought that was good. I thought that was pretty funny. So I figured I'd share. Feel free to use it. Feel free to use it out and about. Tell your neighbors. Yeah, you can hold your manhood. That was a good one. All right, well, we're having a pretty successful afternoon here. Some of the smoothest rows I've made, if I'm being honest with you. It's the little things with technology that you don't think about, like, hey, you're never a little too close, you're never a little too far. You're always grabbing the same amount of hay. Now this here, I was at the very end, so either I left a small row or I made one big row. So that's what we're doing here. We're putting a little more on. One thing I wish I could have gotten a picture of from the sky. So those of you guys who followed me early on, I field spread this with the truck already once, but I ran out of manure about here at this barn. When you were coming down that road, you could actually see a line in the hay where we stopped with manure. And that's after, I mean, this field has been fertilized this year. So it's not like the field's starving, but just having that extra manure, the rows over there are bigger. It's crazy the difference that stuff makes, honestly. So we're gonna pack up, go across 63 here and start hammering over there. All right, guys, this next field here, we are in the pay dirt now. We are gonna be making some rows in this stuff. A big leafy alfalfa. This is this field's third year now. But yeah, what a difference from that stuff over there that was fourth year. It's pretty wild stuff. Now we got these eyes in the sky again. Hopefully we're making straight rows for him anyways. I think he knows we're filming him. It's the damn Russians. All right, in the spirit of just trying stuff and seeing if it works, I made a TikTok video earlier today asking what people do. I had a guy tell me to set my track spacing to 10 foot 4 inches. That just adds in more tracks, and you'll be dead on. And he was right. I've been dead on. So I think this is what we're gonna go with, because this is no, recentering required. That one video I was saying, I was talking to my buddy, he said, set it at, I had it set to 44 feet, I think. And then every third time I was just recentering it. This works pretty slick, so I'm gonna stick with this. But hey, thanks to all the TikTok followers. Hell yeah, you guys rock. All right, guys, we're going rally caps, finishing the night out here. It's 6:30. I've got that many rows left, however many that is. Should be, according to GPS, should be about 25 more acres, and we're gonna call it a night there. They didn't chop anything. I'm just getting ahead with the merger, so should be 120, 130 acres ahead of the chopper, which will be awesome. They can get a start first thing in the morning, same time me, but they can get the chopping right away. I get the merging right away. I could stay ahead of them. They could go full tilt like a Peterbilt and not catch me. Hopefully, unless I break something. It happens. So yeah, we're gonna keep the hammer down. You guys have yourselves a good night. Tune in tomorrow. I'll see if we can't get a chopper video or something. I don't know if I'll be in a truck or anything near the chopper to get any of that footage, but we'll give it a shot for you guys. I'm sure you don't want to just see me tootling around in the old merger here, so we'll do our best. But hey, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, like button, share it out with your friends about the dairy farmer that just keeps pushing buttons on his GPS. See you guys in the next one.